Hello everybody, what's going on, and welcome back to some more, in fact, the final redirect video for Let's Watch. Oh man, fucking Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Ah, this is it, boys, and oh man, oh boy, oh boy, oh man, oh boy, oh geez, it's over. This is it, the final 4 episodes. Go in the description, click on the Dailymotion, Google Drive, or BitChute links, assuming they all work, to watch these final 4 episodes of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Happy Tuesday, everyone. If I'm saying that and it makes sense, that means my plan went according to plan. And if it doesn't make sense, damn it. I am planning on putting this up on Tuesday. I am going to have to edit this entire redirect in, like, a couple hours because I'm recording this on Monday. Spoilers, I'm actually recording this just before I put up the other episodes, but ideally I'll have this up tomorrow. So if that worked, yay for me. And yeah, so with all that said, happy Tuesday. I don't know if that means anything to you, but happy Tuesday. And I mean, what is there to say? I mean, I could start talking about the show, but I want to go through the episodes first. So, go watch the episodes. Go watch them all now. I talk about all the episodes and everything. I talk quite a bit about a few of them. So just go watch them, dude. Just go watch the episodes and, you know, you'll see what happens in the end and if I thought it was cool or not. With all of that said, are we done? I think we're done. Okay. Do we jump into it now? I think we jump into it now. Okay. So, before we do that, spoilers, aho, be warned. I will now begin speaking on spoilers, so be sure to watch these 4 episodes before this point in the video, because I'm about to talk. And you can't stop me once I start. So, go watch the episodes right now. Because it's about to start as soon as I open this can of Monster Energy drink. 3, 2, 1. Man, I can't believe Edward punched God in the face. That was crazy. Alright. So, holy shit. What the fuck? Okay. So, let's actually just go through these episodes and talk about them all individually, and then I will talk about the entire show and my feelings on it. So, let's go. Let's start first with episode 61. I used Bradley here in the thumbnail. I had a good few options, to be honest, but this shot of Bradley holding the sword with his teeth, I couldn't not choose it. If I have one regret with these final string of, final strings of thumbnails, I couldn't find a good place to put Envy. I just couldn't do it, because I think he's the episode where Hohenheim dies, and I had to make it Hohenheim, so, it was tough. I could have used a shot of Ling in the final episode, but the final episode had to be Ed. So, it was a real, difficult one to choose, but obviously for this episode, picked Bradley just fucking stabbing dudes with his sword. It's pretty good. And let's talk about this episode a little bit as I read the Wikipedia description to make sure I remember everything that happens. Episode 61, He Who Would Swallow God. That's such a good fucking title, dude. Those present in Father's lair survive the human transmutation. There you go. Discovering the homunculus has used over 50 million Amestrian souls to suppress the eye of God within a reborn body. Is that what he did? Wait, is that what he did? Okay. Wikipedia, what the fuck are you talking about? Hold on. Father neutralizes the use of alchemy and prepares to annihilate them. However, over the years, Hohenheim had placed fragments of his own Philosopher's Stone across the country to neutralize the transmutation circle. Those stone fragments are activated by the Eclipse's Umbra, and the human souls are ripped from Father. Wow, okay, so they explained the Eye of God has been placed inside of him, yet they didn't really explain what the fuck. They didn't really explain what the fuck Hohenheim did. So, if you all recall, as I was watching this episode, hold on, I'll fucking get to it. I'm just gonna read the rest of the description first. He is weakened, forced to relinquish the Eye of God. Father then attacks Edward's group, but May's alchemy, combined with Hohenheim's Philosopher's Stone, resist him. Above, Scar manages to deliver a fatal blow when Bradley is blinded by sunlight as the sun re-emerges. Scar then activates the nationwide alchemy circle prepared by his fellow Ishvalans, which restores alchemy to its greatest potential. Father heads above ground, searching for more souls to replenish his stone supply, and is chased by Edward's group. Edward stays to fight Pride, who attempts to replace his deteriorating body with Edward's. However, Kimberly's soul, holy fuck, I forgot that happened, reappears, thwarting him and enabling Edward to enter Pride's body and destroy it. Pride reverts to a small Feotis? I don't know if this is a typo or if Feotis is a thing. Feotis-like creature, which Edward spares and then leaves to join his friends. Okay. Fuck all that shit. We're talking about the very first thing to happen in this episode. So if you guys watched me watch this episode, which you should have, you would know my feelings on Hohenheim doing whatever the fuck he did. I've given it a lot of thought. I've asked a lot of people. And maybe they're all just stupid. Maybe I'm stupid. This is all completely possible. But when I asked, what the fuck did Hohenheim do to revert all of the souls back into the bodies of the people? I don't fucking know what he did. And I've looked into it. I don't fucking know. No one's asking this question. Like, I fucking look it up. I'm like, what did Hohenheim do? And I don't find any threads about it or anything. What the fuck did he do? Because he didn't reverse the whole thing, did he? Because if he did, what? Why? Maybe he did, but the Ishvalans had to create their own circle to do that, right? So what the fuck did Hohenheim do? He just put some souls in the ground. And I get those were specifically spots where he's making his own circle. I get that. You don't even need the circle. It's just there as a guideline. But I really want to know what the fuck he did. Like, did he reverse the entire thing? Because if that's possible, I mean, that's great. That's great and all. But, like, did he do a reverse thing like the Ishvalans did, and he just undid Father's fucking spell? Is that what he did? What the fuck did he do? I'm not certain what Hohenheim did, and all this fucking Wikipedia thing says is Hohenheim placed fragments of his own Philosopher's Stone across the country to neutralize the transmutation circle. What does that mean? It neutralized it? But it didn't, because he used it. He used the transmutation circle to do the god thing. You didn't neutralize it. If you neutralized it, it wouldn't have worked in the first place. These stone fragments are activated by the Eclipse's Umbra, yeah, and the human souls are ripped from Father. He is weakened and forced to relinquish the Eye of God. I understand that. All I can take from that all I assume that happened, because I'm not certain, but I'm going to make a guess on what happened there. Hohenheim somehow did some crazy fucking spell. It's a fucking spell now. Did some crazy alchemy thing that reversed the previous alchemy whatever the fuck. I don't know how he knew to do that, but I guess the whole city is a circle, so he could figure out, hey, if it's going to be used like this, I can use it like this. Sure. So he used the entire fucking circle to undo the previous transmutation circle, and it undoes it, and so Father then loses all of his souls. They return to the people, even though you would maybe think they would actually go up to the Truth Land, but I digress. They all return to their bodies, and now Father is just back to being classical Father. I had a bit of a problem with this, as you would have known later on in this session. Father, uses a fuck ton of power that I was like, how the fuck can he do any of that? And it made me wonder, like, man, couldn't Father have just, like, all along killed people? Because I'm thinking, like, he's using however many souls he had from Mestria. From Xerxes. And I think we estimated it was about, like, what, 5,000, like, 5 million or something? Like, just to be safe, let's say 5 million. That is pebbles compared to 50 million. So 50 million basically makes him a god, right? 5 million makes him able to play God for like 20 minutes, and then he dies, because he's used it all up. So my only guess here is he was still able to play God, because whatever the fuck suppressing the eye of God means, which I didn't think that's what he did. I thought he just went into heaven and God went, here you go, and like gave him the knowledge of God and allowed him to use his alchemy in ways no one has ever seen before, because he's fucking crazy strong now. I didn't think he suppressed the eye of God. What the, like, does that mean he literally ate God? But God's not in the physical world? Did he eat the eyeball? They could have shown him eating the eyeball then. But doesn't the eyeball take you to another... what the fuck ever. You get the point. So my guess is Father was just... his mind was awakened, right? Like, he was able to see everything he could possibly do as God. He then lost all of those souls, and in a frenzied attempt to get back as many souls as he can, he burned through all of the souls that he had from Xerxes that he had barely used. That's my only guess. Theoretically, Hohenheim could have also become God, even though he did use way more souls than Father did. Theoretically, Hohenheim, if his mind was opened, could do all that God shit too. It's all theoretically possible if you have millions of souls. But if you don't, you can't just do that shit, because you would explode, probably. That's the only way I can understand it. And even then, I feel like the show really should have said what Hohenheim did. Because from what I remember from the episode, Hohenheim goes, "Fuck you, Father, I was prepared." And then, and the fucking eclipse creates the circle, and the boom, boom, boom happens. Which I don't get why the eclipse is the circle, because couldn't Father have just used the city's circle? Because the city's in the shape of a circle. Couldn't he have just used the city? What the fuck ever. Maybe it would have been too hard. The point is, he uses the eclipse of the circle, the circle of the eclipse, the shadow of the eclipse, to then create another transmutation circle with all of these souls placed in specific spots that they need to be. He then reversed the effect of the previous thing, and even though, yes, Father is still in his new body, it's not going to do him any good without all those 50 million souls, so he was in a mad dash to get them back. That's my guess. The show didn't really explain that. The show was almost implying he was, like, he still was God, and he had all of God's power still, but he didn't. Like, I feel like the show should have been a bit more focused on drain him of his souls, drain him. He doesn't have 50 million. He only has whatever. Just drain him. Hit him with everything you got. Feel like they could have done that a bit more than not doing that, but I digress. This is just me trying to figure it out. I can assume Hohenheim's just really smart and did some crazy shit. I just feel like for the show, which is really good at explaining everything they've done. It's very weird that Hohenheim's move wasn't explained, because that came before the reverse alka-history is used. What is it? It's the nationwide alka-history circle prepared by his fellow Ishvalans, which restores... Yeah. So the Ishvalans did an alka-history circle, which reversed the effect of whatever like evil was tainting the place, and now they can use their alchemy. Great, that's cool and all, but like, I feel like the show really should have because I don't think Father knows I don't think Hohenheim, knows alka history, so he didn't do a reverse. But then what the fuck did he do? He just canceled it out? You can't do that. That's crazy. And did he even use the same circle that fought? Like, wouldn't you theoretically have to... I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know magic. This shit's crazy. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this, alright? I had to complain about this somewhere. If you think I'm stupid and you want me to correct myself... Hold on. Anyways, like, if you feel like I'm just being stupid or something, feel free to comment down below and tell me, Shad, you're a fucking idiot. This is what happened. You didn't fucking pay attention. Totally feel free. There is a 1,000,000% chance that I just was not paying attention and I didn't understand the big brain move of Hohenheim. That's very possible. If you want to tell me exactly what happened, totally do. But as far as I can tell, that was an act that wasn't actually explained what Hohenheim did. You can just kind of assume in Hohenheim's time away, he's been preparing for this. What was he gonna do? Like, what did he do? I don't know, but he set up some kind of trap. I just wish the show explained what the trap is. Anyways, my apologies. I love this fucking show. I don't want anyone to think I'm sitting here saying the show sucks. I love this show. I can't make that clear enough. This shit's a 10 out of 10. This is one, like, kinda iffy moment in a fucking sea of incredible ones. I'm just curious what the fuck Hohenheim did. I really want to know. I digress. My apologies. Also, what the fuck does it mean he suppressed the eye of God? What do you mean by that, Wikipedia? Shut the fuck up. Anyways. So, back to the point. Bradley gets fucking killed. I think. Yeah, Bradley's fucking dead. Then Pride is about to eat Edward, but Edward goes, nah. And then Kimberly appears, which, by the way, fucking Kimberly. What the fuck? Where did Kimberly come from in the story? That just came out of fucking nowhere. Kimberly's back. Like, I did not think for a moment that Kimberly would come back in any way, shape, or form. Also kind of weird that Kimberly's whole thing was about, like, I just want to see who wins. But then he's like, well, Pride, don't do that. And it's like, Kimberly, you're supposed to play fair. But I get it. Kimberly was like, yo, don't be a fucking idiot, Pride. Use your own body. Edward's body sucks. And Pride's like, shut up. And then Edward enters Pride's body and destroys it, but takes his soul out. I went in depth in the actual episode on how I think that all happened, but that's also a little confusing to me. What the fuck? That's crazy. Like, I know we've seen Edward use his own body as a Philosopher's Stone. I know we've seen that before, but holy shit. I feel like this is next level. Anyways, Then Pride becomes a little baby, and Edward leaves. Cool episode. Lots of stuff I don't fully understand, and I don't know if it's because the show didn't explain it or because I'm stupid. Probably both. All that said, next episode, episode 62. Oh boy, clap. Let's jump into it. Episode 62, a fierce counterattack. Hohenheim and the others prevent Father from making more Philosopher's Stones. As Edward rejoins them, Father spawns humans resembling the people of Xerxes, before attacking with a powerful blast which takes out half of their headquarters. Once again, I feel like Father spawning humans resembling the people of Xerxes is a good example of, like, I imagine Hohenheim could do that too, considering he can literally talk to them. It's just he doesn't know how. That is so beyond his range of understanding. Father was just able to perceive how to use his alchemy and his souls in a way he's never considered before, because it's like 5D thinking, and he just can't think that way, but now he can. That's my interpretation there. Anyways, then he fucking attacks with a powerful blast, which is a bit of a waste of your energy, considering, like, why did he make the humans appear? That seems like a real waste of your energy, man, but whatever. He then did a powerful blast, takes out half of headquarters. They barely managed to survive the blast, but Alphonse and Hohenheim are heavily damaged, protecting the others. Before Father can kill Edward and Izumi, the Briggs Fortress soldiers, along with several of Edward's allies, combine forces to attack Father and force him to exhaust his stone supply. Father lowers his barrier temporarily to try to absorb Greedstone, giving Edward, Armstrong, and Izumi the opportunity to attack him to the point of needing to physically defend himself. Kind of interesting they didn't mention, didn't Greed, like, turn Father trying to steal his stone against him? Or am I stupid? Did that happen earlier? Didn't that happen here? Weird they didn't mention it. Anyways, as Father starts to lose control, he creates a blast which pins Edward's left arm, while his automail right arm is destroyed. With Edward in danger, Alphonse convinces May to help him perform a transmutation, trading his soul for the return of Edward's right arm. Alphonse rejoins his body on the other side of the gate, and, with his arm returned, Edward, fueled by the loss of his brother, frees himself. Couldn't fucking read. Frees himself to unleash a series of powerful blows on Father. Also, this fucking Wikipedia entry sucks. His name is Our Father at this point. Stupid fucking Wikipedia. Anyways, yeah, episode 62, holy shit. Obviously, I don't have a ton to say here. I think it kind of speaks for itself. This episode was great. It makes perfect sense that Alphonse would then give his soul back so that Edward can get his arm back. Although, kind of weird, I believe he doesn't get his leg back, right? So it's kind of like, oh, right. Right, the leg was because of... Wasn't the leg because of... Hold on. No, it... Wasn't the arm... Yes, the arm was because of... He bound Alphonse's soul to the suit of armor. So technically, yeah, he could give himself back and return things to status quo, but Edward can't get his leg back. That's just not possible. At least not without some kind of trade. Which, spoilers, isn't very possible anymore. Right, because Edward was crawling over to the suit of armor, and he would have had lost his leg by then. Right. He lost his arm in bringing back Alphonse, I believe. That's what happened, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it makes perfect sense that Alphonse would see that and be like, ah, shit. I also think it's cool that, like, everyone just started attacking Father. I always felt like this was totally going to be one of those shows where the big final bad guy is too strong and Edward has to come in with the big save, and all of the other characters are like, go Edward, you can do it, and like everyone else is worthless. But it was actually cool that like they all did actually help a lot, because without them, Father wouldn't have been so weak that he could get fucking bodied by Edward. It only makes sense that, like, yeah, they all would have helped there. They probably could have kept attacking after the big blast. I think the guns still worked, so they could have kept, like, shooting them. But I digress. I thought that was all really fucking cool. And obviously the scene where Greed is pinned into Father's head, and Edward, Armstrong, and Izumi are all attacking him at the same time, and he's just like, oh, fuck this. That's a great scene. And yeah, just a fantastic episode there with the now iconic, which is why I picked it for the thumbnail, shot of Edward slapping those hands and just fucking going in with his fists. His weird fist pillars just bop, 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 killing him. It's great. It's fantastic. And then he spawns a giant spear and chucks it. Because I was so caught up in the fact that, like, oh, I've seen this shot, that I didn't really, like, get to, like, just kind of be there and be like, oh, this is awesome. But when he threw the spear or the javelin, I was just like, oh, shit, like I didn't see that coming. It was great. Episode 63. Let's go. Hold on. But yeah, episode 62 was great. But obviously, I don't have to tell you that. You know why it was awesome. It was awesome. It was extremely satisfying to see. It's also a good little plot point that they kind of boosted everyone's alchemy. Because it would almost feel like, why couldn't Edward win every single fight ever if he was capable of doing this shit? But the fact they boosted everyone's alchemy does explain why he's able to go so hard and all that. Also willpower, but also the alchemy boost. But yeah, that's pretty smart. Glad they didn't just not do that, so that this scene, like, I feel like this scene would have been a little more kind of like, oh, okay, sure, why not, if they didn't explain that there is a genuine power boost here for everyone. It would have felt a little more like, okay, now everyone's just really good, sure. But now they actually are just suddenly really good, because, hey, we've been working out, lifting 500-pound things. It's only 250 now. Oh, shit, we can do that, you know? So it's pretty good stuff. But now it's sad time. Episode 63. The Other Side of the Gateway. While being pummeled by Edward, Father desperately tries to absorb the Philosopher's Stone from Greed, which I fucking called, by the way. However, Greed decides to part from Ling's body to protect Ling's soul, sacrificing himself by using his carbonization ability to turn Father's body into weak charcoal. Father extinguishes Greed's soul, but Edward punches through Father's chest, releasing all the souls of the people of Xerxes and sending Father through the gate of truth where he is trapped for eternity. Which, by the way, all the souls of Xerxes being popped out through his chest, kind of stupid. Why didn't he just, like... Oh, I guess it isn't that all of the souls of Xerxes appeared as soon as there was a hole. I guess the idea is he probably destroyed his Philosopher's Stone. That's probably what happened. Because I was thinking, like, why didn't they show up whenever Father got a hole in him any other time? But I guess it didn't destroy his Philosopher's Stone. Although kind of weird it didn't, considering all of his, like, souls created that giant, like, spike pit inside of him. But I digress. And sending Father through the gate of truth where he is trapped for eternity. I would debate that. I don't think Father was trapped for eternity. I think something else happened to him. I don't know what, but I think saying he's trapped for eternity implies, like, oh, we know what happens to him. But we don't. All we know is he's returned there and he's saying, I don't want to go back. That's all we really know. Is he saying he doesn't want to go back to being trapped? Or is he going back to where you are before you exist? I don't know. But I think saying he's trapped for eternity is a little simplistic. I think whatever happens to him is surely awful. But I don't think we know what that something is. Anyways. In the wake of Father's defeat. His name's fucking Our Father, please. Everyone mourns Alphonse's sacrifice. Edward rejects using the Philosopher's Stone to bring him back, even after Hohenheim offers his final life as an apology for the pain suffered by the Elric brothers, which, by the way, how convenient Hohenheim knew to, like, stop using his souls at that moment, because he only had one left. Although then again, I guess if Hohenheim can speak to every single soul, he can probably feel how many are left. So that's actually fair. Never mind. Fuck my snarky comment. Also, really cool that Hohenheim's like, yo, Ed, I'll fucking do it, dude. Those two scenes with Greed being extinguished and Hohenheim being like, yo, use me, and Ed being like, fuck you, Dad, you don't know anything, shut the fuck up, and Hohenheim being really sad about it, those two scenes made me cry like a fucking bitch, dude. Edward ultimately decides to perform a human transmutation on himself, sacrificing his own gate and his ability to ever use alchemy with it. Which is such a good moment, dude! The fact that he's like, nah, I'm fucking done, I'm out! In return for trading his ability to perform alchemy, Edward is allowed to bring Alphonse back with him in his original body. Way to just skip over, by the way, the best part of this entire fucking scene, where truth reveals he really is just you. Whatever, dude. I talk about it in the actual episode. All I have to say about that is that scene is still super cool to me. And I would have used it as the thumbnail, but once again, Hohenheim episode, he kind of had to be the thumbnail. As everyone recuperates from the battle, Hohenheim returns to Rosimble. Is that how you... Rasengan, and dies peacefully before Trisha's grave, grateful to have known her and his sons. And then there's a sad little epilogue ED, where everyone's sad and we all cry. The end. That was the sad episode. Thank you, everyone. That episode's fucking great, dude. Yeah, I mean, I feel so conflicted, because I feel like I shouldn't go on about how Hohenheim is really awesome, because you all fucking know he's awesome. Of course he's awesome! He's constructed to be an awesome character. But I will go into it a bit here. Hohenheim's great. I love that Hohenheim is so upfront about being a horrible father. He's a fantastic person, a wonderful person. He was a horrible father. And he kind of redeemed himself at the end with the whole, I'd give my life because it's over. What I needed to do as a good person is over. Now I need to be a good father. You can take my soul. Bring him back, please. But obviously, Ed says no, and I love that he did, because who knows what would have happened to Hohenheim's soul if he did have to be used in that way. I mean, would he have gone to some form of afterlife where all other souls go when they die, or would he have gone to truth, and would he have been locked in somewhere? I don't know, but I love that he was willing to see, man. I think that's great. And yeah, the tragedy of him outliving his wife, it's fucking sad, man. And you hope that if in this universe there is some kind of heaven or afterlife, you hope they can genuinely be happy together. Which apparently the manga kind of alludes to there with the little scene Astro added at the end of episode 64. Which, by the way, thank you, Astro! I was actually wondering how some people would feel about that. If they wouldn't like that he put that there, because, like, it's not a part of the actual show. But personally, I think Astro's done a great job of not, like, adding too much to, like, change my feelings on, like, just the base show. But I was really kind of thinking about Hohenheim a lot, and, like, man, it sucks we don't get more of, like, his closure, because he's dead. Obviously, you can't. But, man, I would have loved, like, something. But every time I think of something, it's stupid and lame. Like, oh, his face appears in the sky, and it's like, that's stupid, I don't want that. Like, I'm thinking of all these things, and that little tiny baby scene at the end was, like, exactly what I wanted. And apparently that was in the manga. I don't know if that was, like, in the manga as the ending, or if it was, like, an extra chapter that came out later. I haven't actually asked him about that, but I would imagine it is from the manga in some form. And, yeah, that's a really, really sweet scene. And, I don't know how canon I take it as, because it is a little wishy-washy to be like, and then they go to heaven, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know, that's a little much. But it made me feel good. I don't know if I interpret that as, ow. Fuck! I bit my tongue. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I was making fun of Hohenheim. Oh my god. Fuck my life. Okay. Anyways, as I was saying, I don't know how canon I interpret that scene as. Because it is a little, like, fanfiction-y in the sense of, like, and then they go to heaven and they meet and they're like, and then we were happy forever, and then they talked about their kids, and, like, it's such a comforting ending that it almost feels like that's not real, that's not this show. But I do like it, and the fact that it came from the actual, like, author of the series is very nice. I like it a lot, and I would need to think on it a bit more to see entirely how I feel about it, because that implies a lot of stuff, by the way. Like, oh shit, ghosts are real. Like, that's a lot, man. But I do like that scene a lot, and I think it's a great ending to Hohenheim's story. And I think it's sweet that he gets to be with her, because I can now understand why Hohenheim just had to leave, because there was no way to let this happen. I mean, I guess he could have taken his family and left, although, you know what, good on Hohenheim for trying to stop it. Should have got his family the fuck out of there, though. Fuck Amestria. Go on the other side of the planet, Hohenheim. What the fuck? Like, tell your family to get out of Amestria. There's a crazy transmutation circle. But I get he thought, like, he could handle this. And he was kind of wrong. But I understand he didn't want to just, like, uproot their entire lives for something that ideally he would fix on his own. Anyways. Yeah. Really sweet ending here, though. And, yeah. Hohenheim's fucking great. I have looked at the manga a little bit, and it's very interesting, as I commented on the ending of that final epilogue. It's so interesting how Hohenheim in the manga seems so much more cheerful and kind of, I don't know, dorky. every time I think of him, I think of his first appearance to Alphonse. What the fuck was that noise? Did I hear a ghost? Anyways, I think of his first appearance to Alphonse, how in the anime it is like a quiet, drop everything, and then he like walks away or something, like in a panic, or he like, what happens? He like looks at Alphonse and he goes, Alphonse? And then like he walks away or something, like in shock. But in the manga, he's looking at Alphonse, and Alphonse is like, father? And fucking Hohenheim goes, my suit of armor? I mean, Alphonse? Like, the fact that he, like, would immediately go to, my suit of armor is alive! Oh, wait, I mean, right. Hi, Alphonse. Like, he just seems so much more of, like, a fucking dork. Whereas I feel like in the anime, they tend to go for a more serious kind of, I wouldn't say stoic, but kind of stoic giant with the heart of gold. I feel like that's usually how he feels, unless he's on his own. Like when he was walking through the tunnels and he was mocking, Pride. Outside of that, I feel like he's usually pretty serious. And I don't know which one I prefer. I think both are really appealing, but I definitely think for a show that has so much comedy, I think focusing more on his seriousness is more effective in general. But I do find him very funny in the manga. And even that little epilogue at the end of episode 64, you can just see that he's got this weird, like, childlike energy that really feels like Edward and Alphonse. Like, it really feels like he's just amazed at everything. And it makes me, like, it would have made this scene here way stronger if I was thinking of him as, like, just a fucking, I don't know, like, he just seems like such a troubled person. Like, in this scene here, I felt like Hohenheim was content. Like, he didn't want to continue going on. Like, sure, he'd be curious about what Edward and Alphonse do, but he sees they are fully grown, they're confident, they are fine. He doesn't need to be around anymore, and he decides that's okay. And in my, like, interpretation of this scene, he is comfortable with that. He is ready to go. Whereas I almost feel like at the end of this, his smile, I don't take it as a bittersweet smile. I take it as a relaxed, I'm ready kind of smile. Whereas I feel like in the manga, I would see it as a bittersweet smile. I would see it as it's a shame that I have to go now. Because I feel like he would want to see more of the world and experience more things. And, I mean, do what Edward and Alphonse do at the end of the show. And they just go off on a fucking train and they go to explore the fucking world. I imagine he would love to do that with them, but obviously he can't because he's out of souls and he isn't gonna take any more. I don't know. It's fucking sad, dude. But I definitely like both interpretations of the character, and I am curious to read the manga myself after I watch the 2003 series later, just to see how much my feelings on that are true. Like, I wonder if I would feel any differently, or if it is just the exact same character, but he makes a couple jokes. I don't know. Anyways, this episode was fucking great. I don't have to talk about it anymore. You fucking get it. And we end here with fucking hot Edward. Episode 64, Journey's End. While Mustang works towards resolving issues with the Ishvalan people, he is approached by Nox and Marco, who offer him a Philosopher's Stone to recover his eyesight. However, Mustang insists that it be used to restore Havoc's legs first. Meanwhile, Olivier secretly has Scar's wounds treated so he can assist Miles in rebuilding Ishval. The Elric brothers farewell Ling. They farewell Ling? Is farewell a verb? The Elric brothers wish farewell to Ling, there we go, who promises to take care of May's clan and the other clans once he becomes emperor. What a good guy. Then they return to Rasingan, where Winry gives them a warm welcome. Meanwhile, Grumman has become Führer, and 2 years later he visits Bradley's wife, who had been raising Salim. Salim's a fucking normal kid and stuff. Alphonse decides to travel to Kimblee's former chimeras, Jerzo and Zapano. Who's Jerzo? Was that his name? To Jing. Oh, he decides to travel with them to Jing and other eastern countries to learn about Alka history while Edward learns what he can in the west, hoping to pull their research together. As Edward heads off and Winry awkwardly expresses their love for each other. What? As Edward heads off, he and Winry, there you go, awkwardly express their love for each other and use the terms of equivalent exchange. Shut the fuck up! The last scene shows a photograph of Ed and Winry, now married, with 2 children, accompanied by Alphonse May, Panininya, and Garfield. Who the fuck is Garfield and Panininya? I'm not even gonna ask. The last scene doesn't show a photograph of Ed and Winry. The last thing you see in this fucking show is a shot of Ed with his cute fucking jacket on. Alright? Fuck you, Wikipedia. I'm glad I don't have to read from you anymore. Okay, so, that is the end of the show. I enjoyed our final little epilogue episode. I thought it was very nice. I liked seeing Edward not using his alchemy. I thought that was like, oh wow, that is probably a pain in the ass. And yeah, I like that Ed and Winry actually became a couple. I assumed it would have happened, but so often in these shows, that kind of stuff doesn't actually happen until, like, the very end. And even then, it's at the very end where they go, okay, they are a couple, and then the show ends, and it's like, oh, okay, thanks. But here, you do actually get to see, like, oh, they actually have kids and stuff. Which means all those Dojins are canon, everyone. Everyone clap your hands for the Dojins being canon. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Anyways. Well, not all of them. There's a strange amount of... I'm not gonna go there. There's some weird ones, guys. Oh, man. Also, Scar is with Miles, which, by the way, Miles fucking lived! Woo! Miles lived through the show, boys. He fucking did it. My man lived. I can't believe it. Scar and Miles side by side. Let's fucking go. Roy's not blind anymore. He has a stupid fucking mustache. Which, in my canon, Roy doesn't have a mustache. He has a beard. I'm changing the canon. Fight me, author of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I'll fight her. I don't care. I'll fight them all. I'll fight the entire studio of Bones. I'll fight them all. He doesn't have a fucking mustache, alright? Also, I think it's cool that Roy didn't become, the new chairman. Not chairman. What the fuck's he called? Emperor? No? Führer. That's it. I think it's cool that Roy didn't become the Führer. He absolutely could have. after everything that happened, but he chose no. I'm gonna go make right on this whole Ishvalan thing, at least as right as I can. And I think that's cool. I like that he's not done. I like that Ed and Al aren't done, which, by the way, tell me if you wouldn't fucking love a show where Ed and Alphonse go and explore the world. Let's fucking go, dude. Because, yeah, we only get to see Mestrius, which is cool and all, but fuck, man, come on, give me some of that good shit. I want to see what exists to the west. What the fuck is at the west? I don't know. I want to know. Also cool that Ling became emperor. I was actually really shocked that he just straight up went, I have the Philosopher's Stone, I'm not giving it back, I'm gonna go become emperor. I expected everyone to turn down the stone. Like, I was certain Roy would be like, no, I don't need it. But no, he's all like, yeah, okay. But also heal Havoc. I thought that was kind of neat. I wonder if they hear the voices of the souls too. Maybe. Anyways, though. Yeah, and then obviously Ling becomes emperor. I wish Greed was with him. God damn it, I'm so sad that Greed's dead. I'm actually really sad that Greed's dead, everyone. It's such a bummer. But yes, Greed is dead. Ling's the emperor, helps out all the other clans so they don't have to go fucking bye-bye forever. And, yeah, we end the show in a very nice little way. We see Ed actually having 2 kids. I wonder if they were twins. I would imagine so. They were both very young. And there you go. That's the end of the show. And we get to see Ed in a cute little outfit, kind of reminiscent of what Hohenheim used to wear. Very cool, very cool. Ah, yeah. Yeah, man. It's a good ending. I like it a lot. It's very comforting and very... I don't know, like, I don't want to say this because it almost feels like I'm asking for it, but it's so open-ended that it's insane there's no more of this show. Like, how is a series this popular? I assume it's popular? Is this show popular in Japan? Is this series, like, up there with, I don't know, the Attack on Titans and the fucking... What's another, like, really popular series in Japan? Sword Art's popular in Japan, right? I'm just trying to think of all the shows I've seen in Akihabara, but it's usually shows that I don't know about. I don't know. Re:Zero's pretty popular in Japan, I'm pretty sure. Like, is this up there with, like, some of the most well-known animes? Because I know it is in the West. Full Metal Alchemist is one of those anime that kind of, like, transcends it being anime, and it's almost its own thing. It's, like, right underneath, like, Dragon Ball as being, like, its own media and not just being a piece of anime. It's really unique, and I've heard so many people talk about it, and I've seen this show, like, around so much, even before knowing about anime, to the point that it's insane to me that it's not either more popular in Japan or that they haven't milked the shit out of this series. It's crazy to me. How don't you? Like, there's so much you could still do with the story. It would be so easy, as I said at the end of this episode, it would be so easy to just, like, say, fuck off, some magic thing happens, and now Alphonse is back in the suit of armor, and Edward lost his arm again. It would be so easy to just, like, shrug and go, I don't know, it's just magic, you know? Like, they could totally do it. And mind you, I wouldn't really want that specific thing to happen, but I would be so down for a story of Ed and Al exploring the world, and I would love to see Ed Edward, like, maybe run into, like, you know, some kind of creepy cult thing, like he did with the priest in whatchamacallit, in that one town, and see him, like, handle a situation like that without alchemy. Like, he actually has to talk his way out of it and convince people, hey, this is bad. I think that could be really cool and interesting, and the fact that we've never expanded on it is crazy to me. That's wild. I understand I totally get the idea that, hey, it's okay to just stop a series. Once it's done, it can be done, that's fine. And I agree wholeheartedly, but it's just crazy that this is so open-ended, and yet nothing else has happened. That's wild. Like, I don't think there's any extra epilogue to this series. I think it's just this. And that's wild, man. That's wild. But yes, and then we had the extra scene at the end, as I talked about, with Hohenheim, which was wonderful. And I got a little preview of fucking Milos. What's that movie about? I don't know. Milos? I don't know. But yeah. With that said, we are at the end, boys. Oh, man. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's a wild one, man. This is... I don't know if I can say it's my favorite anime of all time. I would really need to think about that a bit more and compare it to other shows I've watched a bit closer. But it is certainly in the top 5, probably in the top 3. It's just so good. All around, it is just such a consistently good series, and it's consistent in just how good it is, how well thought through the characters are, and even the ones who I've openly said I didn't, like, you know, absolutely love to death, like Bradley, who I was like, he's awesome. Don't get me wrong for a second. He's awesome. But he's not a character I'm gonna be up going, oh man, I just can't get over how, like, deep and interesting he is. He just didn't click that way with me. I think he's awesome. I think he is a pretty tragic character. But the fact is, he is a horrible person, and he chose to be a horrible person when he could have, at any point, chose to be better. Could he have beaten Father? Probably not. Not by any means. But when push came to shove and greed was turning against everyone and Scar was there, and Bradley could have turned sides if he really cared. But he didn't. And because of that, he is kind of held back a bit in my mind as, you know, he's a well-written antagonist and villain, and there's a good reason for him to be an antagonist, and there's a good reason for him to be the way he is, but I don't see him as, like, you know, this incredibly rich, extremely complex character that I'm gonna stay up thinking about every night, you know. I like him, but I don't, you know, love him to death. But he's, like, I don't know, one of the few characters I think is kind of simple. Like, besides someone like Gluttony and Lust, who didn't get too much screen time, like, besides those two, I feel like everyone else was pretty well developed. I mean, I guess all the homunculus minus greed were pretty simple. I still don't fully understand why Pride's true form is a baby. I still don't fully understand what Pride's whole thing's about, and I still don't know if Pride is a deep character or not. I'm still not completely certain of that. I remember at the end of the Let's Watch, I went on about how, like, I wasn't sure if Pride was supposed to be, like, an ironic thing, because all of the homunculus are true to their, like, namesakes, except for like greed, and that's his entire character, is that he has overcome that. But Pride's so weird, because like I feel like Pride at the end gave up his pride, because he was like going to go into a new body, and he was like, his true form is a baby, which I feel is like the least prideful you can ever be. I don't know. I'm still not entirely sure what's up with Pride. But like outside of the homunculuses, who are still extremely entertaining characters, I just don't think they're very deep or complex. But outside of them, I feel like every character is really interesting and fascinating, and the parts of the world we go to, you know, the capital, I forget the name, but the place where the Ishvalans lived, the entire Ishvalan war that happened, then going to Briggs, and the little bit we've seen of the, what do they call it, the Shing dynasty, like that little bit we heard of that too. It's just so interesting, and if it really does feel like a real world, to the point that like I'm so shocked we never went further, because there's a whole world that we don't know about. Like, we touched on like a country, and that's it, and there's still a whole globe of places we never went to, which is why I'm still so surprised we never went further into this universe. But I digress. Back to the point. This series is great. It's been an absolute joy watching it, and obviously I'm not done yet. As I keep saying, I still have the 2003 series and Milos and all that. But all of those things are, from what I understand, mostly touching on the same stuff I already know, but kind of in its own way. I guess Milos is something different, but I know it isn't going to be any, you know, earth-shattering thing. It's probably just going to be a random one-off villain that they fought just so happens to be off-screen of the anime. I'm sure it's going to be a, like, My Hero, like, two heroes thing, where it starts with the status quo, ends with the status quo, and it's going to be a fun time, but nothing new, right? And I imagine same thing with the 2003 series, although I am very curious how the 2003 series ends. That I am very curious about, because I know the 2003 series was made before the manga was even done, so they came up with their own ending, if I recall correctly. So I'm really curious what they did there, because was Hohenheim's backstory even explained by the time 2003 ended? I don't think it was. And if it was, like, they didn't know about suppressing the eye, or whatever that is, I'm very curious what they do there. I'd have to guess the homunculuses have a much bigger role to play in the ending. That's my only guess. Because, yeah, like, Ling's super critical role in the story just wouldn't come into play, I guess, I feel. Because, like, he really came into play a lot heavier towards the end. So without Ling and Greed fusing, I don't know. Also, just to quickly go back, I forgot to mention Greed when I said all the homunculuses are, like, kind of simple. I stand by that. With maybe the exception of Pride. I don't know what's up with Pride. I'm still not entirely sure if I think he's a really cool character or a very weird character. I'm not sure yet. But Greed is easily amazing. As you probably heard me say in the actual episode, I think Greed's fantastic. Yeah, Greed is amazing. I don't feel like I have to go too into it, because I think he kind of speaks for himself. Yeah, he's just great. His arc from, oh, this guy's totally gonna betray the crew, he's gonna get Ling killed, yada yada yada, to their kind of weird, almost Stockholm Syndrome dynamic, where they're kind of reluctantly working together because they're sharing the same body, to then a genuine alliance and a merging of the two personalities that can just freely swap out. And then I think at one point, Ling used, like, Greed's power as Ling, which was crazy. And then at the end, Greed finally, like, literally becoming the antithesis of what he was meant to be, proving that the homunculuses are not just that one personality trait. They were labeled as such, but they can overcome that. They can become themselves, their own people. And it's just such a shame that, like, they didn't get to really do that, except for, I guess, Pride. Pride's the only one who, like, gets a chance to go on and become something else, I guess. But yeah, I think Greed is fantastic, and Greed might be my favorite character in the entire show, if I'm being honest. I love Greed to death, and when I think of Full Metal Alchemist, I obviously think of Ed, Al, Hohenheim, think of the giant shadow man climbing out of the door, and then shortly behind them, it's Roy and it's Greed. For my favorite character, it would be a toss-up between Greed, Roy, Hawkeye, but Miles, though. Although Miles I mainly like just because I think he's really cool. He doesn't do much, but I just think he's really cool. Scar's also pretty cool. Man, I don't know. They're all great. And if you notice, like, a bunch of the characters have these, I mean, it isn't, like, some deep, complex thing, but a bunch of the characters start off with one personality, and they end up changing by the end. Scar, especially so, starts off literally planning on destroying Mestria, killing every alchemist he can, and ends up saving it. And I think that's just a trait of humans. I think that's the entire point, is that humans can change, humans can be unique, they can be themselves and be... I mean, that's what humans are, is that they can change their mind, they can evolve, be better, they can forgive, they can hold a grudge, they can do all of these things, whereas the homunculuses couldn't. That was literally, Envy's entire death scene was all about, I wish I could be more like you people. You humans, how do you do it? I don't get it. I can't believe you. And then he dies. And yeah, and the fact that then Greed does that is, like, so good. He became human. Even Kimberly, like, proved to be, like, did any human stay evil? Because, like, even Kimberly, in his evil mode, decided to kind of change sides at the end, because he surely knew that he was going to screw Pride over, and he still chose to do it. Was there any human in the entire thing that didn't at least turn? Well, I guess the people who knew about Father and Bradley, because I guess you could argue Bradley is his name Bradley? Why am I doubting myself? His name's Bradley. Whatever. It is, right? King Bradley. Yeah. I don't know why I got really confused there for a second. But yeah, like, Bradley, you could argue he's human. I wouldn't. He's kind of a weird zombie man. Kind of a weird homunculus brainwashed dude. But, like, I guess the people that knew about them stayed pretty definitively evil. They went to prison and they were just evil. But outside of them, like, a lot of the main characters in the story shifted. And what happened to Jack the Ripper guy? You guys remember that dude in the suit of armor who survived? What happened to him? Because, like, he just barely lived, right? Or am I misremembering? I could have sworn that guy lived. Whatever happened to him? Anyways, yeah, the story consistently said that, you know, it showed that humans can change, and even homunculuses can, to a degree. So there is no excuse, no matter the trauma you may have faced, or the feelings you might have had, there's no excuse for being a bad person, you know? You should always be the best you can be, because there's always going to be people out there who have been through way worse than you, or at least just as bad, and still choose to be good people. And I just think that's a very nice little message there, to just be the best you can be, and don't take shortcuts, don't take the easy way out. And it's also just a very hopeful message to see, like, all these people who have dealt with so many different things come together, be an alliance of sorts, against these, inhuman people that just can't understand overcoming trauma and working through it, and being better people is important and a part of being human. These people who just can't understand what being human is, who can't understand that having flaws makes you better. I don't know. I feel like I'm starting to ramble now. I just think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood specifically is really good, and it's a good story on its own. It's a good story when you take in the more kind of thematic elements, which is always important to me, that a story makes sense on its own along with its themes. I think themes are great, and if your story wants to be symbolic and mean things, that's totally fine, but on its own it needs to make sense too. And I think Full Metal Alchemist most certainly does. And I think that's great. And yeah, just overall, I think it's a great series, and I'm definitely glad to have watched it. It's absolutely one of those series that I wasn't sure if I would be into. I was always scared because, you know, it's one of the most highest rated series on, like, certain websites, and it's one of the most acclaimed series, and I'm always nervous about those because you never know if it's gonna click with you or not, or if you're gonna be one of those people sitting there going, I don't think it's that good, and everyone else on planet Earth is like, you're a fool. I've definitely felt that way before about certain shows I've watched on this channel. Cough cough, Madoka Magica. I'm sorry, Madoka fans. I enjoyed it, but shut up. Anyways. But yeah, like, I was really anxious that I would get to this point and be like, it was okay. I thought some characters were cool, but I just didn't care about the majority, yada yada yada. But thankfully, I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm excited that I'm not entirely done with it yet. I'm really excited to see what else there is, for this show, or I guess for this series. And yeah, I think I've reached the maximum ability I can talk about this. I'm starting to go into ramble mode. So, overall, fantastic series. Absolutely loved it. And is it number one? I don't know. I need some more time to think on it, but it's at least number 5. Probably number 3. But above there, I'm not sure. I need to think about it more, because right now my top 3, if I just had to go off the top of my head, it would be Hunter x Hunter, Code Geass, and this. Although Code Geass might have shifted to just top 5, I'm not sure yet. I need to give it more thought for sure, but I don't know. I don't know. I need to give him more thought. But like top 3 best anime, this is easily near there, if not in there. Man, I don't know. We'll see. I need to give it some more thought first, though. But for now, I believe I've reached the end of this. I'm just gonna start rambling about Edward's coats at this point, so I think I've reached the end, for now, of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next one for probably the extras of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. There's some fun stuff that I'm going to be watching, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh, that was a bad cough. Oh my god. Anyways, thank you all for watching. It was a super duper fun series, and yeah, I can't wait to continue delving into it and seeing what weird things are different in the 2003 series. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next episode of whatever comes next. Thank you so much, and goodbye. Oh, man. Yeah. Is Edward the hottest character in the show? I don't know. I gotta think about it. Probably Roy, though. War criminals are pretty hot, I guess. Oh no. I shouldn't have said that.